Let me tell you something, son. Every young man grows up thinking women fall for words. The sweet talk, the endless compliments, the constant texting. But the deeper truth is that women do not fall for what you say they fall for, what they feel especially. In the moments when you say nothing at all, there is a reason why some men can walk into a room, barely say a sentence, and yet every woman's attention shifts toward them. That is the quiet power of mystery, the kind of energy that speaks louder. The noise silence is not absence, it is energy. Most men assume silence means weakness. They fear that if they stay quiet, a woman will lose interest. But psychology tells a different story. Women naturally fill silence with imagination. Their mind begins to wonder what you are thinking, what you are feeling, and what you might do next. That curiosity creates emotional tension, and tension fuels attraction. The less you reveal, the more she invests emotionally trying to decode you. This is why a man's silence does not push her away, it draws her closer. Because mystery activates a woman's emotional brain. Female emotional system loves something to explore. It seeks depth, meaning, and emotional cues. When a man reveals too much too fast, he leaves nothing to discover. But when he stays calm, grounded, and slightly unreadable, she becomes more engaged, because unpredictability sparks the brain's reward system. This is known as intermittent reward, the psychological pattern that makes the mind crave more. Every unanswered thought, every subtle glance, every pause feeds that emotional hunger. That is why mystery becomes magnetic, not as a form of manipulation, but as a sign of mastery. An inner control. Mystery builds respect. A woman might enjoy a man who entertains her, but she respects the man she cannot completely figure out. When you hold silence with calm confidence, she senses depth and strength. She feels that you are not empty or loud, but centered and controlled. A man who speaks only when necessary becomes unforgettable, because his presence carries weight and meaning, while predictable men fade into the background. Silence also creates emotional space. Every bond needs air to breathe, and that oxygen comes from space. When you do not message constantly, when you give her room to miss you, when you allow silence to exist, she begins to imagine again. And imagination always paints stronger emotions. Longing is created through absence, not constant contact. Because when you are always present, desire fades, but mystery keeps attraction alive and growing. But remember, real mystery comes from depth, not childish games. True mystery does not mean pretending to be busy, ignoring her, or acting cold. That is immaturity. Real mystery comes from living a life with purpose, having goals, structure, discipline, and emotional control. A mysterious man is not hiding. He is simply whole. He listens more than he speaks. He chooses his words carefully, and he does not chase attention, because his presence naturally draws its silence. Also demonstrates emotional strength. The moments when you are emotionally tested are the moments that show your power. When she is upset or trying to provoke a reaction, you're calm. Silence becomes your armor. Psychology calls this emotional containment, the ability to stay steady even when emotions around you rise. Women subconsciously test whether a man can handle emotional storms. And when you stay composed, she feels a rare form of safety. Trust grows, and trust creates obsession, because your silence communicates stability far better than long explanations ever could of her. Time silence turns into emotional authority. Men who speak less make their words more valuable. The quiet man becomes the one people listen to. Your silence teaches that your attention has value, that your energy is earned, not handed out freely. This creates polarity, a natural feminine-masculine balance where her emotional expression meets your calm restraint, and this polarity is what keeps attraction strong for years. Women do not obsess over looks, money, or fancy words. They become drawn to energy, presence, and emotional strength. They become attached to how they feel when you walk away with calm silence. When your silence carries mystery, and your mystery comes from depth, she feels something she cannot easily define. In a world full of noise, the man who masters silence becomes unforgettable and respected. This message speaks Do you understand that silence is not the absence of communication? It is the presence of control, purpose, and confidence. The world does not need more loud men. It needs more calm, intentional men who lead with presence rather than noise. And that is why women become obsessed with the quiet man, the man whose silence speaks volumes and whose energy leaves a lasting imprint.